and welcome back to Pia Pops Off, a podcast where I talk about everything and anything, usually pop culture. And today, we are on episode number 18. And today, we are down one Bravo sleuth. So let's just jump into it to a little bit of Pia Pop Business to attend to. Today, we are only going to be joined by my Bravo bestie, my Bravo sleuth, Jaleeza, because like last episode, Shirla mentioned she might not be joining us this week because she is spending 24 hours in New York. So she will be missed, but don't worry. Jaleeza and I will hold down the group chat. And because we're down one of our Bravo besties, our Bravo sleuths, please feel free and take Shirla's spot and join the group chat. There's only one real business thing that I wanted to attend to because that was bugging me that I don't know was bugging you from my last episode. I maybe only noticed it because I was editing the episode and I just kept hearing it over and over. When we were talking about Sinners, I kept on, when we got to the point where we were talking about some of the movie references or inspiration Sinners took from, or it was inspired by, we talked about From Dusk Till Dawn, and I kept saying over and over, like mistitling it, and kept on saying till dusk till dawn. It's From Dusk Till Dawn. And I said it so many times that it was irritating me. So I just wanted to be like, my bad. I heard it. I was incorrect. The proper name is From Dusk Till Dawn. So if that was bothering anybody, I acknowledge it. All right. But before we get Jaleeza and have her join the group chat, can you do all of the things that helps this podcast grow and flourish? Can you remember to rate, review, and subscribe on all of the places that you listen to your podcast? And also, if you're looking and watching us for the visuals on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that notification bell so that you get informed when we drop a new episode, a new recap of Summer House. You know, I just want to get straight into it because summer's so much fun. And I know this episode was so much fun to watch. So that is all the Pia Pop business that I had to attend to today. So let's just jump onto that big old trampoline bed and join Jaleeza in the group chat so we can recap Summer House episode number 12. Hello, and welcome back to Pia Pops Off. I am here with only one of my Bravo besties, my Bravo sleuths. We are here with Jaleeza. Hi, Jaleeza.
Hello, hello.
Shirla will be missed, but maybe now we'll keep it under 3 hours.
We'll try.
Yeah, it's probably just going to be 2 because there's only 2 of us, so we'll see.
That's an improvement, maybe.
I think it is an improvement. I definitely don't think we're going to get to a tight 1 hour and 30 minutes, but we shall try, like we do every week. But
we'll see.
We'll see. The only pop culture highlight that I wanted to talk about really was still in the Bravo universe, which was Sierra's appearance on Watch What Happens Live. Yeah. So we've been doing a pretty good job in our Bravo Sleuths group chat, like the one that we have privately not on this podcast, with not really talking to each other about the episode or anything outside of the episode for the most part, like with the exception of, sharing some social media things. So we have, our prep work for the next week's podcast. But yeah, we were popping off in the group chat about the Watch What Happens Live appearance. Sierra was on Watch What Happens Live after this taping's Summer House episode 12. And it was interesting. It was interesting to say the least.
No.
So what did you think about Watch What Happens Live?
Yeah, after watching that episode, I expected her to come into Watch What Happens Live with much different energy. I did not expect her to be like so pro-Jessie. I mean, a little anti-Lexi. It felt like she was doing a lot. It felt like, what's that saying? Like, doth protest too much. I don't know where the switch up came from. I feel like we're missing something. Once again, I feel like we're just not understanding how did we get from fuck you, Jessie, to we just like to hang out and party together.
Yeah. And okay, like I'm trying my best to not because I know a lot of the criticism Sierra is receiving from people who are pro Sierra like ride or die Sierra is the fact that like we're not getting the whole story. People are jumping to conclusions. And I'm really trying to take that into consideration that we do not have the whole picture yet. But I keep coming back to like, okay, we see the episode where like this is happening after the airing of the episode, right? And I feel like even if there's something that's happening in between, Sierra has been on the show long enough to know that we have only seen what we've seen, right? So for her to have such a stark difference, like you're coming off of an episode and an energy where you're like clearly pissed off at Jesse and now you're clearly not pissed off at Jesse. I do think that as a seasoned vet at this point, you should be more aware of that you're coming off like it just is coming off like really out of nowhere. Like it's leaving me confused. And I understand that like they can't say everything because they just also finished taping the reunion. So it's hard because they're in a position where they can't spoil things. But like I don't know. I think there is a middle ground that we could be playing here, and it's making me. And maybe she's just like trying to help us be anticipated for the reunion. I have no idea, but it did feel really, really off for me.
Yeah, and so I don't know, like, and obviously they haven't gotten their contracts for the next season or whatnot. But I don't know if she feels like Lexi's not coming back and Jesse probably is, or what exactly is going on there, or maybe something crazy happened at the reunion.
Yeah,
but if anything, I expected probably a little more neutral than what we got.
I will say that she was slaying in that outfit. I loved her little Kill Bill jacket. And I'm just like, I mean, we have never had criticism for Sierra's fashion. She is like top tier with the looks, the fashion. So, I mean, I was a bit distracted by that for a second because I was like, damn, you look good. But I like don't agree with you. But a part of me wants to because you look so good. But like, yeah, the energy was off to me. I actually don't think that the reason why she's more pro Jesse is because she thinks that because of the contract thing, because I absolutely think Lexi has secured herself a spot next year, for sure. But what I was thinking about when I was prepping for this episode, was the fact that I feel like Sierra, and I hate to say this, but I think she has a tendency to like always need to be in conflict with someone.
Yeah.
And right now, like Paige, who I kind of consider the leader of their clique, to be honest, is so obsessed in the best way. Like I'm not saying like they're equally obsessed. Like her and Lindsay have this like newfound friendship that they're like obsessed with each other. Like when Lindsay's interviewing, she talks about Paige, and Paige is interviewing, she's talking about Lindsay. Like they have found. I'm sorry. I know Shirla, Mr. Shirla. This is when she would chime in like, I'm not sure yet.
Like, I love
but
it.
I feel so sure about Paige and Lindsay's friendship right currently. And so my point being is I feel like, I don't know, I don't think this is intentional, but like, I don't know, like I feel like for Sierra, Lexi is the new Lindsay. And
just need someone to be angry at or something.
Yeah, like I feel like I feel like Lexi maybe reminds her of Lindsay in some ways, although I don't think that, but like maybe it's the reminder of like maybe even the conflict she's had with men,
or just the
like
whole
in the
triangle
house, like,
of it all.
Yeah, that she doesn't want to be a part of, and the rejection, and like I don't know. To me, I know a lot of people are like, I don't see the similarities in that situation between Lindsay, Austin, and Sierra, and Sierra, Jesse, and Lexi. But I mean, it's not a carbon copy. It is not exact by any means, but there are definitely, to me, similarities. And I don't know, maybe she's getting a little PTSD from that situation and taking it out on Lexi, because all I'm hearing on Lexi's end of it is like, this is why I feel a certain way about Sierra, but I also am open to being like, it's completely on Jesse why I feel this way. And I feel like all Sierra is hearing is, you're coming at me, making me look bad, which I get, because I do see some of the viewers feeling that way too, that like Lexi is setting Sierra up to look bad about like not going to her birthday and hanging out with Jesse instead. And Sierra, to be fair, Sierra is saying she did not hang out with Jesse, and that is not true. So she cleared that up. So I don't know why Lexi feels that they hung out. So that's my thing. So then let's go back. Why does Lexi feel like Paige or Sierra hung out with Jesse on her birthday? Is it possibly something that correct, like he's been doing all summer?
Well, yeah. And I mean, we found out in this episode that he's not only pitting the house against Lexi, he's doing the same to Lexi behind closed doors. So yeah, I mean, I think it all comes down to Jessie is the problem. But
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
why are the girls not? It seemed like they were grasping onto that in this episode, but
Yes.
now it seems like there's been a switch up again. And
yeah, and the fact that Sierra was asked that question point blank during Watch What Happens Live, like, do you think, I think that was one of the poll questions, and it was also asked to her while the poll was going. By the way, all of the polls were negative towards Jessie, and all of Sierra's answers were positive towards Jessie. It was going literally the complete opposite, which is why I feel like we are all feeling or looking at Sierra kind of sideways, or not all, but a lot of us are. Because it's like, okay, Sierra, then like if whatever Lexi is feeling is not true, then why is it that your answers are matching how she's feeling? Like you're sitting here telling me that you don't think that Jesse Solomon, after watching that footage, was not talking shit behind Lexi's back. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, we saw it. Like it just.
The thing is, you can be friends with Jesse all you want, but is it you not acknowledging that he was absolutely doing that that's throwing me? Like why because if you acknowledge that, it makes no sense why you're friendly with him.
Yeah, it's the co-signing his lack of accountability, because again, she's still harping on the West stuff. She still won't look that man in the eyes, but she doesn't see how this is similar and how what Jesse's doing is 10 times worse, because Wes wasn't telling Sierra I love you. He wasn't asking her to be exclusive.
Correct.
Like, I don't understand how she doesn't see how this is so similar to what happened to her last year.
And yeah, and honestly, if West, because then there was another question saying, who do you think is the most two-faced in the house? And she answered West. And in my opinion, like, yeah, maybe last year, but like currently what we're seeing, again, we can only go based off of what we're seeing. No, like, I don't see that. I only see that with Jesse. And not only was Jesse doing that with Lexi, he was doing that with you too. So that's just, it's just like, so what are we basing this off of? I don't know. I hope that we get some resolution during the reunion, but I from little things that I've seen, I think Shirla was right. I don't think that we will.
No, like you said, I think Shirla's right. I don't think we're going to see the resolution. It seems like maybe, and I'm going to hate this, but like if the girls are all taking Jesse's side in real time at the reunion and just like leaving Lexi out to dry, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
Yeah, I kind of predict that it's going to go. Sierra is going to be completely like over it. It's going to be pretty much the Paige of the reunion. Like, you know how Paige always comes in like with this like crazy stank attitude towards Lindsay after having what seems like a fine, pleasant summer with her, for not always, not every summer.
Yeah.
But like there's been a couple of summers where I'm like, what is happening? Like when we come to the reunion, like you guys didn't have much beef. And then your attitude towards her is just so horrible. Like, I feel like that's what's going to happen with Sierra. And then I think Paige will, because I feel like she's been pretty consistent. I don't think she's going to be like going after Jesse, but I think that she will absolutely be like, come on, Jesse. Like, she'll be calling it out. Like, I think she'll be calling it out. She's not going to like rip him a new one at all. She's not going to, she doesn't have a dog in the fight. That's the thing. She's not going to be angry, but I think she's absolutely going to call bullshit when she hears it. I think Amanda is going to be trying to be the Jesse whisperer and every time Jesse says something stupid, she is going to try to interject and explain what he really means. I think those are going to be the levels that we see. And Jesse's going to walk out of here and do the typical thing that Kyle probably has coached him on and try his best to take accountability, even though I think it's really hard for him to, and I think he will not be able to do it. And we will feel that way as an audience member. But the rest of the cast will, in that moment, make it seem like he has done the job that he's supposed to have done, which is take accountability, which he surely will not. And that's why he's going to walk out of the reunion feeling really good about everything. And I'm going to be here to be like, I will be on that neck. Okay?
Absolutely.
You will not walk out of there unscathed if I don't like what you said.
No.
I don't care what your cast made you feel like at the time.
Yeah, like is he just gonna sit there and take it? And that's his version of accountable, is just sitting there and being quiet and being like, okay, but like not explaining himself, not being like, oh yeah, you're right, I probably did love bomb you and lied to you and gaslight you and manipulate you. Like I mean, again, we kind of saw a little bit of that this episode. He just, it all became, how she interpreted his behavior and not,
Yeah.
these are the things I've done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I expect more of the same from him.
Yeah. So I think that's honestly all we have to like really go on and I think we're going on it based upon this episode. So let's just get right into it. Let's do the Summer House recap, episode 12. It picks up where we left off on last episode, which is Lexi, Paige, Amanda, Gabby, and I think Lindsay. Yeah. So Lindsay,
100%.
Paige. Yeah, Lindsay, Paige,
all the girls,
Amanda, and Gabby and then Sierra. Like she wasn't there in the beginning, but actually no, she's not there at all. Because she comes back. She's there
she comes later.
Later. Yeah. So it's all the girls minus Sierra, and it's just literally them hugging it out, like saying Paige being an icon, being a queen, and being like, "Listen, I may know Jesse longer than you, but he's still a man, and fuck that man." Okay, fuck that man. That's why I think Paige is going to be like the person that's like, we're friends, Jesse, but like you done fucked up. So I feel like she's going to be completely fine doing that. But then we do. Okay, I did not realize because we talked last episode about the roommates and their costume choices, and I don't think we really kind of talked about Kyle's costume, and I only wanted to highlight it because I didn't realize that Kyle was a sloth. I was obsessed because I don't know if you know, Jaleeza, and I think you might know this, but a sloth is one of my favorite animals. And it's because in grade school, in fourth grade, we had to name we learned about sloths. So I actually know a lot about them. I was like, I don't know, I found them very fascinating. And it actually matches the theme really well because it's snooze fest. And I don't know if people know this, but sloths are not only slow-moving creatures, they're incredibly sleepy creatures. They are so sleepy that they sleep for 16 hours a day upside down, like by hanging from their arms from a tree like this. They're just like upside down and hanging there for 16 hours a day, just sleeping. I did not have to look that up. I still remember learning about sloths because I loved sloths that much. And I not only loved them so much that there was a competition in school where it was like, so Jaleeza and I, she's not from Michigan, but she spent a majority of her life in Michigan, and we actually went to the same school. But you weren't there in fourth grade. She came in middle school. But we had a competition, and it was all in Michigan for like the science museum in Michigan. And so all of the schools participated in a competition to name the sloth because that was like the animal for the science center that year. And we all had a vote, and they decided that my name for our school would be the representative, and I named the sloth Armstrong, like Neil Armstrong, but also a play on that because they hang upside down, they are super strong. So I actually ended up winning for our school, and they presented me with a stuffed sloth when we went for this field trip to get the award that the school took from me and put in the computer lab. Like,
you didn't get it back at the end of the year?
No,
they just kept your sloth?
Yeah, they kept it.
That's messed up. You should go back.
See if it's still there. I was like, damn. But yeah, so sorry about that tangent, but I was like, I love sloths.
Yeah.
In case you didn't understand why he was dressed as a sloth, there you go.
And I liked his, like, because it was niche, right? Because again, unless you know about sloths, you're kind of like, okay, they're slow, but like,
I don't
why
get it.
A sloth? But
yes,
that is why. About that one.
That was like, I kind of love that because that's thinking outside of the box. So that I really appreciated that, Kyle. Good job. That's the only time you ever hear me say good job to Kyle. So now we are cutting to what I was like dreading because I was like going to get secondhand embarrassment, but we cut to Carl and a very drunk Sierra. And now I understand why Carl is like, you know what? Maybe I tell her I have a crush on her now because clearly Sierra is drunk, and maybe if it goes wrong, she won't remember. I can too bad the cameras it's like footage, so like we'll all remember.
He's like, I'll pretend it didn't happen.
Exactly. So Carl and Sierra talking. They end up going over to the porch and sitting. And you know that Sierra knew what was about to happen because he was already dropping little hints. Like she was prepping for it the entire conversation because, like, he's like, so who are you talking to? Like, she was talking about, like, you know, Carl and how his hookup went. And Carl, word of advice, if you're about to profess your your like undying love or a crush on someone, like maybe we withhold the fact that you don't think that you performed well in bed. Like, I don't know. Like, I think maybe we don't lead with that. We don't. Am I wrong?
So awkward. It was so awkward because, again, we all knew it was coming. You could tell Sierra could feel what was coming. And, like, it feels like it's just that nervous thing you do where you just start, like, talking and just saying whatever to fill the space. But,
Yeah.
like, you are so not setting the mood. Like,
I feel like he knew, though. It was like one of those things, like, you're right. Like, I'm sure he was, when he said it, he was like, his inner monologue was like, Carl, what are you doing? You're blowing it.
reel it back in.
Okay, maybe she'll think that was endearing. Okay, move on. Let's start complimenting her at this point. You are so smart. Like, and I mean, it wasn't a bad switch tactic. But Sierra was also doing like her inner monologue, in my opinion, like, oh no, Carl, please don't. Like, and then she like tries to give him an out, being like, you know, I think that I'm done with white guys. Like, that was his moment to be like, maybe I don't. And Carl was like, maybe I do.
He's like, oh, that's the side that I should say this. Because the way he was like, oh, man. He, like, made a comment when she said that. And it's like, maybe she's saying this because she knows where you're going and she does not want to hear it. She's giving you the clear out. And he's like, I hear that and I will raise you by telling you exactly what you don't want to hear right now.
And boy, does he. And so she's like literally like nervous laughing, and I would be doing the same. So I'm like, okay. Like, she was really trying to be like, how do I like the whole time? Like, how do I like tell this man it's not you, it's me, but it is you. And I feel like she does it in the classic Sierra way. Like, it's like, we kind of talked about this last week. It's like, she did let him down really nicely and easily, but the thing is, she left this like little bit of like hope, in the sense of like, or even like, she could have left resentment if anything for Lindsay on Carlos. And like I did feel like that for like a half a second, but that was before you and Lindsay got serious, before the engagement. And now I don't think that could ever happen because Lindsay and I are in such a good place, and I don't want to like rock the boat to the point where I don't even want anybody like in the house anymore. Like, I think for me, it would be best if I find someone new, which I actually agree with. Like, like ultimately, yes, but then also she a little bit put it on the Lindsay thing as if it's like which I think is a slight bit of a cop out, because all I feel like Carl heard was it's Lindsay was the issue and not him. And I think he needs to hear it's like she does not want to be with him, as opposed to it's like a Lindsay situation. Because like for him, because then you see in the confessionals, he's like, maybe I'm gonna like, it felt like a real, like, I don't know if this is gonna really like resonate with people that are not millennials, but this felt like a real like Steve Urkel moment where like Sierra is Laura Winslow and Carl is Steven Urkel, and Laura keeps, you know, saying, no, Steve. And he's like, I'm going to wear you down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it felt that way to me.
Yeah. It felt like
Steve did wear down Laura, to be honest. The last episode of Family Matters was like Laura and Steve getting married. So Carl, you know, I'm just saying, Carl, like,
well, he had to change his entire personality first and go through that machine for that to happen.
That's true.
But it did feel very like, is it Dumb and Dumber, where it's like, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Yes, it is Dumb and Dumber.
Like, that's what it felt like. You know, because even after she's like, I'm not dating anyone in the house, he's like, well, maybe you'll date around and realize that I'm a solid guy. You know, or like, you know, like, he was still hoping, like, there's a little bit of her. If we could just put some time between, like, me and the Lindsay thing, like, she'll come back around eventually. And she really just needed to be like, I'm never dating anyone in this house. I'm never dating anyone on this show.
Yeah.
We are just friends, and I love you as a friend, love you as a brother. Like, just kill it completely.
Yeah. But I feel like she won't kill it completely, because I personally feel like Sierra really does enjoy the admiration that, I mean, who, like, hey, I would too. Like, I mean, I don't want to give away, I don't want to just like get rid of someone who's going to give me free compliments. So, like, I mean, I did say no, but like, don't stop complimenting me now.
Yeah.
So, I get it. But Carl, there is no hope. Like, you really need to let that one go.
He, too, should probably find someone not in the house. Like, go date a normie.
I don't even think I think that he should find someone not on Bravo. And I know, like, we're all going to be like, well, then he did. He tried to date Lil and everyone attacked him. But, like, that was messy. That also felt messy. Like, start fresh. Fresh. Start from now. No one on Bravo. Start fresh. Start now.
Someone you haven't known before. Just, like, meet someone completely new.
Yes. Start over. But work on yourself first. Then start over.
Yeah, that part. Go to therapy.
Yeah. So then we cut to Jesse confronting the ladies, which was the worst mistake he has ever made in his life.
He miscalculated that one bad.
Like, did he really think that he was going to gaslight Paige? Maybe Amanda, but Paige and Lindsay? And Gabby?
He really thought he was doing something there. He thought he could just pull whatever little tricks he pulls on Lexi and it would all be good. But, like, they've all had conversations now. They're all aligned. They all see exactly what you're doing.
That was literally suicide. Like, why would you do that to yourself? He literally goes in there. Amanda tees him up like, what's your problem? You have an attitude. What's the attitude about? And he's like, well, you guys are out here talking shit. Like, and then trying to reverse Uno them and being like, I came to you as my friends, feeling like I could confide in you. I could tell you the worst parts of what I was feeling and it would be essentially stay between us. And here y'all go talking shit and saying the worst parts. Like, it'd be different. It would be different if you said any of the best parts. But all you've been doing, Jesse, is telling them how horrible she is. There was nothing else for them to talk about. You didn't provide them with any of the good stuff. Not, at least we didn't see it. Anytime you were like, and I guess we could say editing, but I don't feel that was that's the case when every single person, including no one has said one positive thing about your relationship, and it's because you haven't said anything positive about your relationship to them.
Yeah, he's not giving them a balanced view. Like, it'd be one thing if he was balanced in what he said to them, and then sure, then okay, maybe if they're just telling her the worst. But like, yeah, he's only saying that she has these yellow flags or whatever, and acting like she's possessive and crazy. He's not saying any of the things he's doing or telling her, or the ways in which like she's not crazy and possessive.
Exactly. And then, so to me, it's like, if I were them, I'm like, so why are you so upset? Like, you're the one who said these things to us. Like, you're acting as like, so like, I would be like, so what are the positives? Like, I wish they had asked him that. Like, so what are the positives? Because you only told us negatives. And I mean, Paige kind of says that because she says like, hold up. You're the one who's coming to us, bro. Not the other way around, honey. You're coming to us. You're complaining about Lexi. And then you're saying, now, stay out of it. We would love to, babe. We would actually love to
be in it.
We don't want to be in it. You guys keep putting us in your 5-week relationship that we don't understand why this is so dramatic about. We don't give a shit. We're just here to eat the popcorn, okay? Stop asking. And that's when he's like, oh, shit. Like, I can always see when Jesse is trying to change tactics. And I don't know if he didn't see Sierra there, but Sierra is lurking in the background. Okay, like, she's ears were up, okay? And he then makes the next fatal flaw, which is to say, like, what are you talking about? Like, I mean, because Paige essentially calls out the fact that, like, he was, like, being inappropriate with Sierra the weekend before. Like, they're not even fucking talking about Toge. Like, Token is, like, not, to Jesse's point, it's not that big of a deal because what you were doing with Sierra to them is a bigger deal. You were being very flirtatious, acting as if he could turn back the hands of time, share, a la Cher, that he would have pursued Sierra if West hadn't gotten to Sierra first. And Jesse's like, I just don't think that I was being inappropriate. Like, if anything, the reason why, like, it may have come off that way was because I was just trying to make her feel better. Oh,
like, Sierra's, it was like, run, Jesse, run.
Yes. Sierra's eyes went so fucking big.
Absolutely.
She said, excuse me? She said, what? And he was like, yeah, like, you know, like, I was just like, we were having, and then he tries to gaslight her in that moment, Sierra, being like, you know, because you were, like, so upset about, you know, West, and we were having such a great conversation, and I was just, like, trying to, like, you know, compliment you, make you feel good. It was just, like, it was a joke. It was nothing. It wasn't real. It was real the day I wore that vest. Like, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? It was real when it was happening, and all of a sudden it's not real when you get called out. Like, what's the deal? I don't get it. And
yeah, well, he acts like that conversation just happened in a vacuum, like by itself. Like he wasn't falling all over her on the pool float, grinding up against her while she was dancing. Everything else in addition to that. Had he just made the comment, like, then he'd be like, okay, maybe it was innocent, it was a joke, but like that coupled with everything else he was doing and Lexi not being there, like that was all part of a bigger game, sir. Whether you like Sierra or not, you were obviously trying to send a certain message.
yeah, it was just inappropriate. It doesn't even matter. Like, that's like, whether it be, to your point, Jaleeza, whether it be serious or not, it doesn't matter, because what he was doing was just downright inappropriate, and he's not getting that. At this point, everybody is over it. We're like, Jesse, you're fucking wrong. We're all screaming, you're wrong. And Sierra is literally screaming, you're wrong, and in the form of fuck you. Well, not even fuck you. He's like, I'm like, what does she say? She says, fuck off. She tells him to go fuck off. No, like, seriously, Jesse? And she's like making sure he knows she's serious. This is not a joke. No, fuck off, fuck you. Lindsay was cracking me up.
I loved her in this moment.
Lindsay has, oh my gosh, she is just doing a killer job at her one-liner. She is like, well, Jesse, you've like, honestly, it seems like kind of an improvement. She's graduated from saying fuck you to fuck off. And Jesse's like, is that an improvement? Lindsay's like, no, and laughs and just walks away. I love that. Like, it's perfect, because I think a lot of times where, and you know what, and I will say that this is a big criticism I do have for Lindsay, and why I could see why a lot of the girls did have a problem with her, is usually at that point, she would be people-pleasing the boys. Mm-hmm. I would say that, typically, and talking to them for way too long, where at this point, she is so, I feel like because of the whole Carl thing and being, like, literally humiliated on TV, she's, like, really entered her new era, which is so funny, because, like, we're saying, like, Paige said that she has, like, entered her Lindsay era. I think Lindsay also has entered her Paige era, which is like, fuck these men. Like, why are we trying to be besties with these men? Like, it has done us no good. And so I think that is one of the reasons why Paige and Lindsay are having such a strong friendship, because they are taking the best parts of of each other. And it's really nice. It's a really nice thing to see.
Well, and it's nice because, right, like, normally she's not friends with the girls. So then she backs up the guys blindly. We're here now that she's friends with the girls. We're actually getting to see her be a girl's girl. She's sober because she's pregnant, so she's not getting activated. She's just like, she's kind of the voice of reason. And I love this role for her.
I do too. Yeah. And the thing is, I think that she's always been a girl's girl. And I think that's why we've loved her so much. It's just that is the issue. Unfortunately, because she has had such long-standing beef with the women in the house, it was harder for her. I have seen her try to. I think she did that. She did the season with Hannah, which is where I think she had the biggest fallout with Paige, because Paige took that as her trying to, like, kind of drive a wedge between her and Paige and Hannah. But I feel like she's always wanted this. Like, she's always wanted to be like, hey, ladies, I am here to stick up for you. But, like, they haven't had that relationship. So it was really kind of, like, hard. And now they do. And I'm so happy, because it's like, yes, fuck these men. I love it. Fuck these men. Oh, yeah. I wrote Wes is hilarious. Okay.
With his candlestick.
Yes, because so after that, we get a lot of the throughout this whole snooze fest party, the editors kind of like flashing towards like a lot of like, you know, the scenes, some of the major players, just like kind of filler stuff in between cutting to the major scenes, which I am really enjoying, because when we get little moments of West in his little like you called it, which I love, don't wake daddy, but like it's like the fairy tale guy, like he's in one of those old timey like pajamas, and he's holding a candlestick, and he's just like in his groove, and he's dancing, and it's so funny. The girls like have to make a comment, like in the sense of like Paige just like, and all of them, even Sarah, they're like, God, he's funny. It's like is he just as like a player? Yes, he is, but he's fucking funny. And I think that his commitment to the costume is one of the reasons why Sierra, I always flip them, is why Sierra like did really fall, or not maybe, like, she was really interested in West, because it was, like, I do believe Sarah when she says, like, I didn't even like him at first, but I think his personality is such a draw. He is so charismatic that you can't help but start liking him. And we talked about Sierra's commitment to costumes, and I'm like, I see why they do actually make sense, but he is a fuckboy through and through, and it's not going to work out because he is not. I think he has probably 5 more years of being a fuckboy before he's ready to, like, be in his settling down era, which I also understand. But I feel like he's, like, he learned from his lessons of last year, and he's just more honest about it, which is why I think I'm softening to Wes, because it's like, he was like, I need to be honest. I just want to, like, date around and enjoy this newfound fame, which is fine.
Yeah.
As long as you're being honest about it.
Just be honest. And he definitely does have swag. Like, he is one of those guys where, like, no, he's maybe not super handsome at first glance. You're not like, ooh, yeah, so attracted. But, like, he's funny. He commits to a bit. Like, the way he was walking around with that candlestick the whole time, just, like, in character. Like, you could see how he could win someone over. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, had he just told Sierra that he wasn't feeling it instead of talking in articles, like, I do think probably things would have ended up differently for them. So, like, forgive him there. But, like, when he's not fucking around, I have no problem with him. I think he's great.
Yeah, like, honestly, this season, I don't think he's done anything that really has irritated me. Like, they had, obviously, Sarah and him had that moment in the beginning. He had to get over the fact that Sierra has to be on her time if she ever wants to have any type of relationship with him, and he cannot be upset about that. And he has to get over that. And once we got past that, or we're getting past that, yeah, like, we're good. So keep that energy. Now we are, like, pretty much getting through this party. We're starting to, things that has happened, transpired, and all these, like, conversations are starting to, like, settle into specifically Lexi. She's really soaking in all the information. And to a point where she ends up in the kitchen with, like, Gabby and Lindsay and Schwartz. And she's like, of course, goes to the what we deemed the godfather of fuckboys, Schwartz, and says, what's the best way to politely, like, keep someone out of your room, lock them out? And he's like, and Schwartz, being the seasoned, like, what he tries to proclaim as retired fuckboy, is like, that's a loaded question. And he is not answering that. He does not want to be in this mess. This man is just trying to get through this party. Like, what is happening? Like, what is happening? Yeah, Schwartz is like, I don't know if I want to be in the drama. I can't commit to this drama.
I mean, they would never work. But, like, there was a little moment where I was like, is there a little vibe between Lexi and Schwartz? Where she, like, pulled him into the kitchen to go take a shot. I was like, could we see that? Could that be something?
Oh, absolutely. I actually meant to say that last week. If it wasn't for Lexi and Jesse being in a situationship at this point, is what I'm going to call it, I definitely think that Schwartz and Lexi would have hooked up and have done some form of dating or whatever.
I mean, he is 20 years older than her, so, like,
I mean,
but, like, there was
wasn't that his ex-girlfriend that of her age though?
True, good point. Yeah. So she is his type, to be fair.
Exactly. And the thing is, I think it's just so funny. Jesse want to talk about, if Wes hadn't called dibs on Sierra first, he would have took his shot. Same Z's with Schwartz. I think that he would have absolutely shoot his shot with Lexi. But I also feel like Schwartz is, like, so happy that he got this information, because he's like, oh, I cannot even afford another weird situation. And I feel like that was, like, him being like, I need to stay clear away. Like, at this time, he's not really telling people that his business is, like, failing due to scandal. But his life is in shambles, and he does not need the extra drama. So I feel like Schwartz has been trying to, like, steer clear of any potential drama. Like, he smells it a mile away. I feel like he's been so much in the game that he was observing this whole thing happening between Lexi and Jess, and he's like, oh, this is a storyline. This is a storyline. And I don't want to be a part of the storyline. So in any way, I don't want to get called in for a reunion. I'm not in it. The question is loaded.
Oh, absolutely.
Question is loaded.
He's like, I just want to come and go and not have any problems. And I think he mentioned that, like, he had that whole butt incident the one time. He was secretly getting a divorce the other time. He's like, I just want to be here and enjoy the party. I don't want to be involved in any of this mess.
Growth.
Finally.
Finally.
It only took, 15 years?
Oh, God. So that's going to be that's about how long it's going to take his disciples. All right.
Mhm. That's
All
what it
right.
takes these Bravo men.
And some will never, Kyle. So now we're with Paige, Amanda, and Sierra on the giant bed outside again, like chef's kiss with this party because you have this giant bed in the middle of a party. Perfect viewing to just watch everybody and talk shit. I am so happy. And gives Sierra the amazing opportunity to, which is like now they're able to be in bed and present at a party. Like
Yeah.
that's fucking genius.
They're not hiding up in their room like they do sometimes. The fact that they can have that moment just, in the middle of the party, they need to set up one of these beds for every party.
Every party. So Sierra takes the opportunity to kind of give, Paige and Amanda the rundown of what's happened, starting off a soft launch with Carl and him saying that he has a crush on her. And Paige immediately laughs, like couldn't even help herself. Amanda, because she just thinks she's the whisperer of all these broken men. And she's like holding Sierra like this is so deep because she obviously Amanda knows. Like Amanda always acts like she doesn't fucking know. Like I'm sure Carl has already said this and Amanda was just waiting for when he was going to drop it and he didn't know it was going to be today. And so literally Paige laughs and then Sierra says, well, essentially I said, whatever is meant to be will be. And that was Sierra's way of saying that's a soft no for me, but really a hard no. It's a me, not you. And Paige immediately says, a bless your heart moment. That was so kind. That was so kind of you. Because we all know what that means. Like, she's not actually saying, maybe. No, it's not happening. And Amanda is she's trying to be okay, well, you know what it is? She's trying to because she knows everyone's laughing at this, and she just wants to protect Carl and his dignity in some way, and she's blessed her heart for doing so. She's like, well, you know what it is, and the thing is, she's not wrong though, because we said this too. Carl is confusing your friendship and you being so supportive this entire time of him, and also obviously you're drop dead gorgeous, so who wouldn't be confused as him liking you, which I mean, Sarah at first I feel like was slightly offended. Like, no, he likes me though, bitch.
Don't minimize it.
Don't minimize that. He does like me, but she ultimately, I do think that is what is happening here. I think that Carl, that's why I think that he needs to work on himself first before he enters into a relationship with anybody, because it did concern me. Like Sierra is, and she even mentions this on Watch What Happens Live, that she loved all the compliments because it was more than just her looks. He was listing out her qualities, which is great. And she does have all of these things, but it scares me for him because she's listing off qualities that he needs in friends for sure. But these are qualities that he's it's like he's looking for also a therapist. He's looking for someone to put his baggage onto instead of dealing with the baggage and unpacking it. And that is not going to be sustainable. So you can say what you want about Lindsay, but ultimately if Sierra had said, sure, let's try this, at some point it would be the same thing. I feel like it just really would be. So, and then what are we going to say? Sierra's a piece of shit? At some point, we have to be Carl needs to deal with this and stop jumping into relationships hoping that will mend what he's going through. It's not going to. It's just not.
He's not dealing with his own stuff. And so therefore, he's just looking for someone to share in his stuff with him. And so, if he were to date Sierra, all he'd end up doing is poisoning the well. It's not going to go the way he thinks. And she's able to be the support to him because she's not in a relationship with him. She doesn't have to carry his baggage around all the time. She can support him and then kind of pull back and go on about her business.
A part of me was do it, because I would love to prove the fact that we have to stop acting like Carl doesn't need to really get some serious help. Because I don't know, I feel like it would take him dating someone that everyone seemingly really likes to see that this is also a Carl thing, because I feel like it was so easy to put everything onto Lindsay and give no responsibility into it being also a Carl thing, which is what I think that Lindsay and Carl's relationship were equal parts on both of them. to a degree. I don't think that the way Carl handled it towards the end was right at all. But before that happened, I was like, I just think these are two people that shouldn't be together. But everybody just was like, Lindsay sucks. And that was it. And that was like, okay, well, no, they both suck together. And that's what they shouldn't be together. They're not, I don't know what else to say about like that.
Have we ever seen Carl in a healthy relationship? Like,
No.
again, everyone talks about Lindsay, but like Carl also has a track record as well. And people have gone on to be in healthy relationships post him. So like it can't just be Lindsay's fault.
Yeah.
Carl has to be doing something, whether he's sober or drinking, and whether that changes some of his behavior, that doesn't change who he is entirely. It doesn't make him a completely new person. Like, he does need to start taking accountability, but he grew up in the whole Kyle school of fuckboyery, and we see that it worked well for Kyle. So I think Carl kind of just feels like, oh, I just haven't found the right person. I just have to find the person who will put up with my shit, and then what I do will be okay.
And the thing is, Sierra is willing to put up with his shit in a sense because they are only friends. She doesn't have to go home with him and continuously be around that for 24 hours a day like Lindsay did. To be fair, like you like that, it's much easier to handle people who have like trauma like that in doses. But like, I don't know if Sierra's patience would be holding up as well as it does if she had to be around him in that state all the time.
No, or relying on him for like their future. Those sorts of things, like expecting him to contribute to a household.
Yeah, like the way that Sierra is, like her life is just so, she has like just kind of similarly to Paige, like we talked about last week, I feel like she's also entering in her new era of like what she's going to be doing once the show she's not on the show, like hosting, like she was on the red carpet interviewing Michael B. Jordan with Sinners. She's modeling. Like, she's gone a lot just like Paige is, and that was a big thing for Craig. And I'm like, I don't think Carl is as bad as Craig by any means. But I think that Carl is going to need a lot more stability than what Sierra would be able to provide him with at this point. And I think that would have become an issue that I think, and like you said, Carl has a little nasty side about him. And I don't know how long, like when it would come out, but I think it would eventually come out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was watching some Instagram videos of him like back in, I think Hannah's first season, maybe Hannah and Paige's, or when Jules was there. And yeah, like you just forget like how rude and nasty he was sometimes to women for no good reason.
Yeah, I know exactly what clip you're talking about. I came across it a few weeks ago, and it was really mean and really, really nasty. And I do feel like people like real, and that's what I was talking about last week when I say the editors are trying to edit Carl in a way like he hasn't lived a life. And I completely understand that people can grow. And we always say we're so sick of people holding like people like Katie Maloney, like Lindsay, to these people or Kristen Doty, to these people that they once were, and not letting people evolve. And I don't really want to do that with Carl, but like, I do feel like he got off really easily and not having to like account or atone for that behavior like those other women did. So that's where I guess I get a little bit more annoyed, and I do like to bring it up a little bit because people act as if that never existed. Like, it's like his record got expunged, and I'm like, I'm unsealing those fucking documents, bitch.
Yeah. like the hate those women had to put up with, and like the way they've had to prove over and over again that like they're not those people. And sure, a part of that is probably still inside them, but maybe hopefully they're doing the work to like push that down. We haven't seen Carl be in a situation where that's really tested, because I think if he was, we'd probably see it rear its head.
And we have, though. Like, we have seen it, like, very quickly. He's really good at, like, reeling it back. But, like, yeah, I would, but my toxic part of me would like to see it happen a little bit with him and Sierra, and just to test out the theory. But, like, that's also really horrible. So, no, don't do that. But also,
I mean, they are real people, but, like, it would make for good TV. So, agreed. I'd like to see it. I mean, I know it would not be good or healthy for either of them.
Yeah.
But, like, as a viewer...
Yeah, if we're just talking about making TV, sure, but like should you know? You should really not. So, and then so So then so they're on the bed, they're gossiping. They start out with talking about Carl. Then they move on to essentially talk about the Jesse situation. And the fact that Jesse wanted to say something like, I was saying like I would want to like have pursue something with Sierra to make her feel better. Laughable Jesse Solomon. Like, please. And actually, sorry, before we get to Jesse Solomon, Paige says something really funny, and I have to point it out because they start with Carl, then they move on to West a little bit, talking about, no. Sorry. I got mixed up. That's why I went. Okay. So when they are talking about Jesse, and Jesse saying that he said that to Sierra to feel, because he felt bad for Sierra when they were talking about the whole West situation. This was so funny because then Paige said something so fucking real and funny. And she's like, why would you, Sierra, need Jesse Solomon to make you feel better about a man dressed in pajamas holding a candle? And the way the editors cut to West with that damn candle lit, a real candle lit, him like doing like your drunk uncle in the corner shimmy shaking to himself, was so funny, so diabolical of the editors, but in the best way. Even I'm sure West had to have laughed at that edit. But she's not wrong though. Like that was so ridiculous. And then Amanda, of course, again being the boy whisperer and speaking for Jesse, he's like, I just think Jesse's embarrassed that he like actually said his true feelings and has to deal with the consequences of that. Okay, is he embarrassed? Like saying embarrassed is such a like way of like getting him out of that situation. Embarrassed? He doesn't seem embarrassed at all. He seems like a fucking misogynistic piece of shit that got caught like talking shit, which is why Sierra, sorry to go back to Watch What Happens Live, we're going to the future. Like, again, you're a part of this conversation. You were present for when he did all these things. To say that he was not talking shit is crazy to me. Like, so I don't understand it. I don't understand Sierra's point of view on Jesse at all.
No.
At all.
If this isn't talking shit, then what is?
Like, then why were you so upset? So were you overreacting?
Yeah, I mean,
that's either Sierra, you were overreacting this summer, or Jesse was doing what we all feel like he was doing. Like, I can't feel like there's an in between in that. Like, I don't know.
Again, like you said, he wasn't embarrassed. Like, he was backpedaling. He was trying to get out of it so everybody wouldn't be mad at him because he doesn't want the girls to be mad at him. But like, that didn't seem like embarrassment, because then he would have just said, that was out of line. I'm sorry. He wouldn't have given the excuse that he was just trying to make her feel better.
Right. Because like, embarrassment is what Carl did earlier.
Yes.
Like,
that's
you know what I mean? Like, and in the best way. Like, it's like and Carl I would have gladly accepted him backpedaling, but not in a mean way. But that's an example of someone like being a little embarrassed about what, saying all these things and in confessionals trying to clean it up a little bit. And I completely understand that. And he still did it in a way to not like make it negative on Sierra. So I also appreciated, like, Carl is growing on me a little bit. I will say this about Carl, because I also saw an interview with Carl. I can't remember where it was. And they were talking, it was somebody asking him how the reunion went. And Lindsay came up and he was saying, and I actually thought it was super genuine. I'll have to try to find the clip and possibly insert it if I can find it. But he was like, she did bring the baby Emma to the taping of the reunion. I think the baby may have come out at the end, so that might be included. I'm not sure. And he was like, and he made it very clear, because like at first I was already gearing up to being like, he's going to use this moment to like, I don't know, like either talk shit about Lindsay or make him look like a good person. But I actually felt very genuine within this interview, genuine thoughts from him. And he was just like, I didn't, hold the baby, but I did. I don't know. Like I thought it just made me feel like so happy for Lindsay to see her with her baby, because I do know that she's always wanted to have a child, and to see Emma for the first time, like really reminded me of that. And he was like, honestly, like even watching back the show, like I feel like we got along really, really well for what the situation was on both ends. And, so he was like, I think he even called out some of the things that he did. Like he was like, he watched back like, okay, like, and I think he didn't say it, but I think he was referring to like saying like Lindsay was obsessed with him after she called him out about the whole Lil thing. And being like, that was him still trying to process things, and also acknowledging that, they were friends prior to anything. And there was a lot of love there, and it was a genuine friendship. And so I know me and Shirla had talked about, like, I could see a world in which they become friends down the line. And I do think that is a possibility, because I feel like everyone is beginning to heal from what happened. And I feel like Carl is possibly looking back and seeing maybe parts he played in it.
Oh, I love that.
Parts. I don't think he's fully, like, I feel like he always will lean towards taking the victim role, to be honest with you. I think that's his default. But I do feel like he is trying to, I think he knows he has to live in a world with Lindsay if he's going to be in the Bravo universe. And I think also seeing Paige and some of the ladies getting along, he did mention that in the interviews, that this is the best that they've all gotten along, and being really happy for that. Like he is gonna have to change. Like, he cannot keep, like, this resentment. It's not going to work in the house. That's not the dynamic anymore.
Yeah.
And I think he went into the house thinking that would be
anymore.
I think that he did go into the house thinking that would be the dynamic, because it always has been, and that just wasn't the case. So I'm glad he's like, well, I'm going to have to shift.
Hey, I'd love to see some growth. Like, I'm here for it. Again, like we've said before, like, I'd love to see them be friends again. I mean, I'll be honest, like, someone broke up with me like that, I don't know that I'd be as nice and kind and copacetic, as Lindsay's been. And sure, she's yelled at him, she's had her moments, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, the fact that they can even be in the same house together, I think, is pretty mature. And obviously their livelihoods depend on it, paycheck wise. But I mean, again, like, if they could figure out how to be friends in some way,
yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I do think that they are built for reality TV, not me. Because to your point, Jaleeza, it couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. And then, you know what? I would be the problem. I would be the problem, because if that's where the house was at, like, I don't think that I could get past it, and that wouldn't be good TV, because that's not where we're going. And so that's why I just could not. I wouldn't want to be on TV, because, like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we're going to be friends. But, like, also, I wouldn't want to be in a house with my ex. No. Like, that's not a normal situation. It is, though, if you're going to be on TV, like it is, though.
Yeah.
Not for me.
And maybe they went into it when they first started dating knowing that this is, if things didn't work out, like, this is the situation they'd be put in.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it couldn't be me. It wouldn't. So, and again, I think is that thing about Lindsay where she's able to move on. Like, she will move on, be on to the next thing. Let's just make good TV. So more power to both of them.
Yeah. Well, now the party is officially going to bed. It's being wrapped up, and it's being wrapped up by Lindsay. She makes the announcement. Everybody gets to get the hell out of here. Her and her unborn child has gots to go to bed. I feel like Paige put her up to doing that, because I feel like
don't make me the bad guy this time.
Yeah, like, we're pregnant. Just tell them we're pregnant and you got to go to bed. And Lindsay was happy to oblige, because she is pregnant. She does need to go to bed. And then, so now everybody's, like, leaving. Schwartz is in the kitchen with Kyle, and they're talking about, again, Schwartz is talking about how he's, like, happy that he's in finally a good place. But the only thing that he's, like, worried about is the fact that, like, he would like to start a family, and he doesn't have anybody right now to do that with. So that is, like, worrisome. It's a great segue for Kyle to bring up what him and Amanda are going to be dealing with, that what their storyline is, which is, should they try to really have a child? So that's a really good, like, setup for what's going to come at the end of this episode. So way to set that up, Schwartz. Then we go to the house, which, by the way, again, like, not only was the Snooze Fest the best theme I've ever seen on Summer House or on TV in general, from top to bottom, this whole party was amazing, because it's, at least for me, that's how I would want to party. Like, it seemed like the party wrapped up at a decent time, like maybe like 11, 12 o'clock. Like, it seems like a very appropriate time to wrap it up. Everyone leaves that's not staying. But yet, like, we're still up. Like, we're still having a good time. Like, Paige orders McDonald's Postmates for the house on Kyle's card. We love that for us.
Love that.
Like now we're just chatting. We're eating McDonald's. I like that sounds like a perfect way to party to me. Like, that looked like so much fun. Like, that was a good night. That was a fucking good night.
I have no notes on Snooze Fest. Like, I want to go. I want to be at the second annual. Like, everything they did was great. But I did just think about it real quick. when they were on the bed. And
Uh-huh.
this just lends credence to the fact that it was Lindsay's idea to do the pirate party. They mentioned that Carl's theme for a party was a baggy clothes party. And
I
so
know.
I
I
was like,
know.
and this is how we know he's run out of Lindsay's ideas because
That's what? A baggy clothes party?
he's into baggy pants now.
But okay. All right. Let's talk about, just for a quick 2 seconds,
Sorry.
let's talk about that. Why is he all of a sudden, Mr. Tight Pants McGee, all of a sudden into baggy clothes?
Because he probably wore a pair of baggy pants one time, and then Sierra was like, "Those pants look good on you, Carl." And then he's like, "Baggy pants forever."
Yes, that is what it is. Because on Watch What Happens Live, Sierra is saying like, "Oh yeah, like Carl finally got out of his like tight pants era," and it's like, "Oh my God, like it just makes a lot of sense." Like I said a few episodes back, Carl's like weird peacocking hair because like Sierra had said one day like he had done his hair differently, made a comment, then he started doing this peacocky hair. This man is trying to like become whatever Sierra is looking for, and I like am peeping it, and it's again not healthy because like, Carl, you're into baggy pants
since when?
Since when, sir? Roll compilation of all of Carl's tight ass pants, tight and short,
and
they're
white
capri pants. Jesus, hope I can find a bunch of. I'm sure I can. It's like that's all he used to wear. But so they're all chowing down on this McDonald's that Kyle bought for the house without his consent.
His reaction when the Uber Eats guy came, he's like, "My card."
I would have refuted that at the
Kyle.
bank. I would have refuted. I would have called up Chase and been like,
"I did not approve this purchase.
No,
I don't know
fraud,
how it happened.
Fraud.
I ate the burgers, but
my burger. You can charge me for my burger, which was about $10.99 with tax. No, round that up to 12. I tip anyway. But they house realized that Lexi is missing. Is that your dishwasher?
No,
you looked
running.
over.
Who are you looking at? I was looking at my computer.
Oh, okay. I just like try to catch it now.
I'm like, did you hear us now? Like, literally, I kicked Nick out of the house today. So,
okay. Who's there then? I'm kidding.
It's
but
my ghost.
Right. So the house realizes Lexi is missing. So Gabby takes it upon herself to go do some investigating. Goes to Lexi's room, and Lexi's on the phone with her sister, kind of like debriefing her on what she's learned that Jesse has been saying about her to the whole house, which is like she has yellow flags, just pretty much talking shit. And so Gabby can like sense that there's some type of like energy, and so Lexi like tells her sister she'll talk to her later, and then starts just like pretty much just not unleashing. That's not the word I want to unleash, but she's just like she's really just trying. She's just finally just unloading all of what she is feeling onto Gabby about what she's learned and how it makes her really sad. Then Lindsay ends up joining the conversation, and they're all just listening to her and trying to comfort her. They give her, I feel like, very like big sisterly advice. And then, Lindsay, knowing that we have to like also like wrap it up a little bit, she's like, baby's kicking. I feel like this will make you feel better. They all touch Lindsay's stomach while the baby's kicking. And actually, Lexi's like, that did make me feel better. And look at Lindsay. Perfect. Now let's go. Let's join the rest of the house. Lindsay's doing a great job. You're right, Jaleeza. This is her perfect fucking role. Like, she is really being able to diffuse situations and keep the fucking story moving. So,
yeah, but like in a really natural way. Like,
yes, she is. She's really doing a good job of doing that. So like now Lexi has rejoined the house. Most of the house is at this point trying to go to bed. Some of the people are going to go outside to watch Zootopia outside. I was under the impression, I was like, oh, that sounds really cool, like to go outside and like I'll be on the big bed and watch Zootopia. I don't know why I thought that they had rented a large screen to do this. And
I was expecting that too.
Right? I was like, that's so cool. I would have loved to do that. But then I realized they were just all just like cute, like huddled around Wes's laptop to watch it. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't expect like 5 guys like huddled around a tiny little MacBook.
Yeah.
But
and
like, I like to see it.
Yeah, like it's still fun. And this is when Jesse, I think, is trying to still test the waters. Like, is this bitch still mad towards Lexi? And like, oh, we're going to go outside to watch Zootopia. She's like, have fun with that.
She's like,
I'm
nice.
not going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm still pissed. So all the guys go out there and watch Zootopia. Then, everybody's done watching Zootopia, and West is like, I'm sleeping outside, which proves to be a huge mistake later on, because then at like 4 a.m. it just starts torrential downpouring on him, and he has to like get out of bed.
Well, it was raining for hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
he did stay out there for a very, very long time.
I'm like, I mean, I get it. You're drunk, but I'm like, how drunk are you that it's been raining since, I think the first timestamp was 2-something, and you're just sleeping through getting rained on?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. He did stick it out for a long time. He must have been.
He was sleeping heavy.
Yeah, it was probably one of those sleeps like where he was like, "Oh, it's one of those rains that it's just gonna rain for a little bit. I can handle it." And he's like, but then it was at to a point where he was like, "Oh, it's not stopping."
No, like torrential downpour. He's like, okay, maybe I should head
Maybe
inside.
I'd pack it in.
It's not worth sleeping on this trampoline for all this.
No. Oh, absolutely not. Oh, God. I can't, I could just smell what it probably smelled like outside, and like just feeling how heavy those blankets were probably feeling it, like gross.
Like all
Ew.
wet.
Like, it's probably,
like,
you know what
no
it is?
support.
Yeah, it's also a trampoline. So it was probably starting to get pools of water at certain points. So he was probably just like almost in like, almost like an inside of a waterbed, like what it must have been like to sleep inside of like the waterbed. Does that make sense?
Yes. Like his tolerance for uncomfortability must be pretty high, because I would not have made it.
The first drop I wouldn't have been out there. Let's just be real. I would not even have been out there. Like, I don't even care if it didn't rain. Wouldn't have been out there.
I have a whole bed inside. Why am I sleeping on a trampoline?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, thank you. So we cut to the next morning, and I appreciated it. I'm not sure if anybody else caught this, but I did, because this was one of my favorite movies when it came out. But it cuts to Schwartz, and he's talking to himself, but he's talking to himself as if he's Ron Burgundy from Anchorman. Did you catch that?
I mean, I heard him talking to himself, but I didn't put together the reference.
Yeah, no, because he's just saying little things like, I am tired. This is a great weekend. And it's just like that one part in the movie where he's like, when he's getting ready to see whatever Valentine, the love interest played by Christina Applegate. And she's like, I love everything. Like, so I was like, okay, he is a millennial, true and true, because that is an Anchorman reference. And I don't think anybody who's watching Summer House besides older millennials like ourselves will catch that. But I did. And I was like, shout out to that.
That's very Schwartz.
It's very Schwartz coded. And it was the one glimpse of why he is a legend, because he does, like, on Vanderpump Rules, like, that's why he got away with a lot of stuff, because he is super endearing and he has these like little funny moments. So when, like, I feel like that is one of the reasons, that was one thing, I feel like that was the only thing that we saw of Schwartz, his personality throughout the whole time he was on, the 2 episodes that he was on for this long weekend. So I just wanted to point it out, because I was like, I feel like if you haven't watched Vanderpump Rules, like, people really just will not understand why he was so heavily featured, like who he is, what his personality is, and that is one of the shining examples of that. But pretty much just a whole house waking up, and this is where we get like pretty much the biggest drama of the whole episode. And it's Lexi calling. I'm just gonna skip straight to it. It's essentially Lexi calling out Jesse in the kitchen. And again, like, one of the reasons why I have become so team Lexi is just because I feel like Lexi has been being very like vocal about her feelings outwardly, not just in confessionals, in the moment during filming in front of people. So that's why she has a lot of my personal respect, which I didn't think that was going to be happening, but it is happening. And she's been doing it. Like, I don't know, like, it seems like Jesse was really trying to like shut her down. Like, she was like, let's have this conversation. And he's like, yeah, let's just do it in private. She's like, no, let's do it in front of the house. Because that's my issue, is the fact that you're talking shit about me behind my back to all of these people, which I feel like is making them form a negative opinion about myself. So instead of us, which we have been doing, having these private conversations, which seems to not being telephoned back to the house properly, let's just cut the telephone game out and let's hold court in front of everybody. And he does not want this to go down. So be exposed.
Exactly. But like, she gets so many points from me for that, because she realized, oh, the biggest problem we have here is Jesse isolates her, has these conversations with her, and then is saying something to the house. So the way she's like, no, I think we should have this conversation in front of everybody. And really she's saying, no, I want everybody to see how you act, how you behave, and what you're saying, so that this way you can't run off and say, oh, I was acting crazy or I was being unreasonable. Like, she's not confrontational, but she's also not afraid of conflict and just wanting the truth out there. And you can tell Jesse, obviously, he thought she was ditzy at the beginning. He really thought he was getting something else with her. And he's realizing that there is far more to her, and she's not going to put up with his bullshit. I mean, she dated a Beckham. You think she's going to put up with Jesse Solomon's crap?
No, sirree. He was shook because he was like, oh, God, everything is going to come out. And you could see Kyle in the background being like, no, not my protege. Oh, fuck. This is going to be bad. Oh, Kyle was pissing me off so bad. So she just starts calling him out and in front of everybody. And Gabby is pretty much her lawyer. Like, I feel like Jesse had West and was Jesse's lawyer in this argument in holding court. And Gabby was Lexi's. And then, but, Jesse, I think, had a little bit more money because he was able to retain 2 lawyers, which was both was really 3. He had West, which was the head lawyer. We had Kyle there to back West up, and Carl was taking notes. He was back there taking notes and sliding things over to the head lawyers in case they needed anything. And it was very evident because here come Gabby trying to explain why Jesse is a gaslighter. Jesse starts playing victim, starts shutting down. Gabby, her cross-examination, is like, hold up. Why are we shutting down? Why are we shutting down? I am just simply stating for the record things you said. Then here comes West cross-examining, like, okay, well, Lexi, what's the issue then? What is the problem? Lexi says, because she was really well prepped, she says, I'm tired of Jesse talking shit to the whole house about me, making me look bad. Wes is like, oh, here, see, I'm with Jesse all the time. That's not what's happening. And then Lexi,
this moment,
she's like, oh, is that right? Then why did he say one of our biggest fights that really kind of started this all off, that I and you were flirting at the club? And Jesse didn't tell his lawyers that part. You have to tell your lawyers everything and be honest so they can properly defend you. And he wasn't honest. So Wes had just learned that piece of evidence. He wanted to do a sidebar. He wanted to consult with the lawyers because he didn't have that piece of information submitted. But that's his client's fault.
The way his face changed, the way he was like, whoa. Like,
he was ready to quit right then and there.
Like, you're going to need to find new counsel. And Jesse had to be like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But it's like,
you're under oath, Jesse.
And everyone's here.
You didn't say that. And then he's like, no, what I said was that I trust you. So I trust both of you. And because you guys were flirting, it didn't bother me because I trust you. And Wes, because he is Jesse's counsel and doesn't want a mistrial, he said, He kept quiet, but in his confessionals, he was very loud, like, what the fuck was that? Don't think that even happened. No, it didn't. It didn't happen. I'm confused why he put me in that. We're going to have to, I've said enough.
I like getting to watch Wes learn his friend is a loser in real time. Like between this and then last episode where it's like, oh, maybe Jesse's the jealous one. Like you see it actually clicking in his head in real time. Like, oh, this man might not be as cool as I think he is.
Yeah. And I love it for us. The thing is, though, unfortunately, because I do, even though I think I enjoy West and I think he's hilarious, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, he is still a fuckboy.
Oh, and yeah. They're going to stick together.
They're always going to stick together. You can literally, and we've seen it, and again, Vanderpump Rules reference, the trio, Jax, Shorts, Sandoval, they can literally do the worst things to each other, and they will always still have each other's back because they always want to do bad things, and they always know they're going to need protection. So at the end of the day, it's one of those things where he might be like, please don't throw me under the bus like that ever again, especially you got to let me know. I'm out here looking like a fool. Like I hadn't even no idea that was about to be dropped in my lap. Like I have enough to. I'm already just getting out of the doghouse with Sierra. I did not have time for this. Like you know that. Jesus.
It's like I just made so many improvements. Don't pull me back down.
I was like, I don't want this. Damn. But it's all good, dog. It's all good. Like just let me know next time. And that's why we continue to have these men on Bravo. And that's why we're saying that, like, we know that the men are always going to protect each other. So we really do need people like Sierra and Amanda to stop making excuses for them. Stop.
The boys are going to do that enough for themselves.
Yeah. Like, if you want to be friendly with them, that's fine. But, like, to absolve them from all of their behavior, it's just letting them know that they can continue to do it. And I think that as viewers, we're actually super sick of that narrative.
Yeah.
So we're not in the early to mid 2000s anymore, babe. We're in a different era. Fuck these men. So essentially, I would have to say, like, obviously the court of Jesse versus Lexi is going to be still ongoing. But I definitely think that was a huge win for Lexi and for that episode. Like, I would have to say, because she does leave it here with, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be exclusive with you. You're a liar, essentially. And everyone is just like, and that's lunch. We're going to take a brief recess and everyone goes their separate ways. I will like to let you know, I did not come up with this court analogy until just right now. So I'm pretty impressed that I was able to keep it up this long.
That was a good one.
Thank you. All my
that
like Law and Order SVU.
Felt like I had some research, but
I felt like thank you, because I will say this: I did not complete my double major. I was only a few credits shy of my second major, which was humanities pre-law. I did want to be a lawyer, and I do watch a lot of Law and Order SVU. So
that is true. See, all that you were made for this moment, like all your history. All your studying was for this moment.
Thank you. I needed people to know that was not prepped. Okay. So everybody is gone their separate ways. Everyone's packing up to leave. Schwartz says his goodbyes to the ladies. And this is when
he talks about his happy family, or how he used to have a happy family.
He did. He said, cherish this moment. I used to have a happy family in LA and now it's gone.
And I wonder how close this was to like the reboot conversation. Like, where did he know about, like what was the timing of that compared to this? Because he felt very nostalgic, and it felt very much like he knew it was over for him in California.
That's a good point. I wonder when they had made the announcement that they were, I think it might, because it was August. We did know that they were, I think we knew that they were rebooting it by that time.
Yeah,
he probably did just get the news. And if it was August, he had probably already been filming The Valley at that point too. So like I kind of made the comparison of Schwartz last episode that he seems like he's the latchkey kid of Bravo right now. And Bravo is his parent that has been late picking him up, almost feels forgotten. And he's just pretty much going like from friend's house to friend's house till somebody picks him up. And he's testing out all these shows. I feel like he was like definitely not here. Like does not like the vibes, the household, the dynamics, the family dynamics at the summer house. He's like, pick me up, mom. Pick me up. He's like when they all leave, he's the last to be picked up by his like Uber, and they're like, "Do you want to ride?" "Oh no, my mom's coming." Like I'll be able to just wait on the steps. She's coming. Don't just everyone leave. Leave.
I'm good. I don't.
She's not gonna be here for an hour or two, and it's awkward. So just go. I'm fine. I'm gonna play my Game Boy. But also he also does make it very clear that the Lexi and Jesse drama was a lot, and he also like that's why I know he's like I definitely peace out on that. Good luck with that, guys. This seems like a no, thank you. Seems like
he's lived through a lot of fucked up relationships.
He already knows. He's like I'm not interested.
He's like I've seen this show before. Like,
exactly.
Can't do this.
He's like, I'm done. I am so done with that. I'm too old for this dumbass shit. And he's been too old, and he's just realizing that. He's like damn near 45. He shouldn't even be visiting that house. That's like inappropriate at this point.
Well, he's Kyle's age, so
Also inappropriate. Like, Kyle, you're going to be 50 in
the summer
5
house still.
years. Like, he needs to start making an exit plan because it is getting, like, a little weird. I'm not going to lie. It's getting, because it'd
shouldn't
be
Loverboy be the exit plan? You would think
I
by
don't
now
know.
it should be successful enough, but
You would think. He's like, Kyle is honestly, what Kyle is reminding me of is, like, I would say this is Kyle's show. Like, and
yeah.
Kyle reminds me, not honestly, and I'm not saying he's anywhere near the level of Jax Taylor, but in comparison to like Summer House and VPR, I would say VPR was for a long time, I would consider Jax's show, just like I consider Summer House Kyle's show. And the comparison that I would draw between the two is the fact that both of them they never thought about how to like really get themselves out of the show and be able to still have a successful, sustainable life outside of this show. I would say I think Kyle really thought it would be Loverboy. Like, it's not that, so he did think about it, but I feel like, which is why I think he's trying to do this DJing thing, because it's like his last ditch effort to like quickly, because I think he does know that it is like his time is like ending, and he does have something to show for it, but he like doesn't, like, not in the same way like Paige, like Sierra, like even Lindsay in some capacity. Like, they don't, like, the women are just like Vanderpump Rules. They have all like in their own ways become successful without the show and are still doing well without the show. And I think that if camera shut down on Summer House, like, that's a wrap for Kyle.
Yeah. I mean, if he didn't have Summer House to be a constant Loverboy commercial, like, would Loverboy even be sustainable at that point?
No, I don't think so. And I feel, I don't know if we talked about this, but I've definitely seen this criticism, is that Kyle made the fatal flaw of making, of the way that he has marketed Loverboy being so much attached to the show, which is like, we're not saying not to utilize the platform to put your product and give it exposure, but I feel like they're in such a Bravo bubble that they think that the world watches Bravo and the world knows who they are. It's only people who watch Bravo, which is not majority of people. Like, I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it's a super popular show. A lot of people do know who they know who they are, and that's not what I'm saying, but not enough for you to put all your eggs in one basket with hoping that people buy your product based off of that.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know, like, how many people buy Loverboy who have never watched Summer House?
That's what I'm saying.
Compared to like Paige and Giggly Squad, where we know outside of Summer House, she has an entire following.
People that didn't even know she was on, to the point
they don't even know that the Giggly Squad is a Summer House reference, right?
Yes, like, or what Summer House is. Like, some people like genuinely had no idea that Paige was on a show on Bravo. I did not realize that until this year, especially because of all of the things that like came out and controversies like that, which was such smart marketing on their end of making that show completely separate from Bravo, separate from Summer House. Whereas a lot of these other podcasts, like Sheena's podcast, like Lala's podcast, like and I think Katie and Dana are doing a really good job of doing this too on their podcast, Disrespectfully. They do talk about Bravo, they do, but that's not their whole podcast.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that, I wouldn't consider it a Bravo podcast. Where I would consider Sheena and Lala's podcast a Bravo-centered podcast, especially Sheena's. Lala had tried to do it where it wasn't that, but when she doesn't talk about Bravo, I think she knows that people are not interested, because I don't think that she's really good at podcasting like she thinks she is. And so she has to talk about Bravo. So now she does recap Bravo shows heavily. Stassi was actually, let's give it up for Stassi in the sense of she was the pioneer of podcasts, and she always made, and her podcast was never centered around the show either. She was one of the first people to do it. So I will give credit to Stassi for that. And she was been able to make 2 successful podcasts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And sustain them through her firing when, you know, she's proven that she can parlay this into a real career outside of Bravo, because
which is why she when she got fired, she's still like, I'm not saying that she probably panicked, because she was not hireable for a time, but she probably thankfully had enough money. Well, I'm not saying thankfully because we were a couple of people calling for her being fired, but
Absolutely.
actually she deserved it. Sorry, she did.
But it
But
doesn't sound like she had the money problems that Jack had. She didn't have to
right.
sell her house like Kristen did.
Exactly. So that's my point. Like, and I'm not like going to be a hater in the point of fact that I think she was really good with business and that was able to get her through that time. And then when it was time, she was able to rebrand again. So it was smart.
Mm-hmm.
It was smart. I have to give her props on that. Still though, deserved that firing.
Absolutely.
But now we're like, so everybody's left. Hopefully Schwartz got picked up. And now
He's still sitting on the stoop.
Right. He still might be there. To this day. Like we just see footage like, oh, still here. But like by the time they get back so it's about to be summer right now, they're like, you're still here, Schwartz?
They show up, he's still sitting there.
No one picked you up. No one got you. Okay.
I got lost.
Yeah. But we do pick up in the city, which is where I'm like, maybe we like, especially I think kind of Lindsay has hinted this because she was asked this question. Cannot remember if it was on Watch What Happens Live or it was somewhere else, but like what, because the summer is coming up, which means they're going to be filming soon. Like, is she going to be on the show? And she did say, it looks like, I don't think that anybody has gotten contracts because the way she answered the questions was that's really up to the execs at Bravo. She is not Bravo. But she kind of put it out there because she's smart. If she was to be a part of the show, which it seems like she wants to be in some capacity, this is how she would incorporate herself. But yeah, we're in the city. And like, that's one of the things that she talked about, like being in the city more, like her life in the city. Like she will be in the Hamptons because she's a Hamptons girly. But like, I love that we pick up in the city. And we pick up on Kyle because we have to go back to or no, do we pick up on Kyle? We pick up on, where do we go first?
Is it Jesse and Lexi?
I think we pick up on Jesse and Lexi because we end on, oh no, you know where we pick up on? I think this
Our
is,
girl.
Oh my God. I think this is, I was subconsciously trying to block this out, but we pick up on Lindsay. And I'm not sighing because we're picking up on Lindsay. I'm sighing because we picked up on Lindsay, she's brought back, dun, 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 Danielle. Because we pick up on Lindsay at a pregnancy checkup appointment. And Danielle is accompanying her because it's probably pretty clear that like Turner, again, he does not want to be on camera. So, and Lindsay wants to film parts of this process. So she's going to need someone to film with. Paige is probably busy or she's just being nice and letting Danielle have some more camera time. And here comes Danielle in her little haircut, which I am not trying to say that her haircut is a direct copy off of Paige's haircut from, like, it just was giving me very Paige vibes, her hair. And I'm wondering if Danielle is privy to the fact that Lindsay and Paige are in a really good place and she's trying to, I don't know, become Paige?
Be a little Paige-like. Like, it's just,
I don't know.
I'm a good stand-in.
I don't know. That might be a reach, but I was thinking it, and I was like, I don't know. Someone is maybe feeling threatened by this
she considers herself a fashion girly, so
we'll see.
She's trying to
okay.
copy the
fashions
original.
with no fashions, but that's interesting.
How dreadful.
Yeah. The appointment was cute. That's all I'm going to say about that because I really don't want to stay much longer on that because of Danielle. But then we cut to Lexi's apartment, which she seems like this apartment is nice. This apartment seems very nice for her.
She's making money.
Yeah, she must be doing well in the modeling industry because the apartment, I mean, I really saw the door and the living room, a little bit of the living room, but both Jaleeza and I lived in New York. So we're very privy to what typical New York apartments look like. And it was very clear that one was a nice one. So
the fact that I didn't need to living room.
Right. I was like, I didn't need to see anything else. That fresh paint job, like I could just see tiny little things. I was like, nah, that's a quality apartment. That is a quality apartment. And but for some reason, she's letting the trash in, which is Jesse, because he comes knocking on her door because he has to have a conversation, groveling. And he again he wants to have a conversation because he wants to have a conversation with her in private. But I'm wondering, did Lexi's like, no, we're no more conversations in private. If you'd like to have a conversation with me, we'll be on camera for moving forward. I'm wondering, do you think that she was
Absolutely.
Like, all conversations moving forward need to be on camera?
Probably because any of these other conversations they've had, right? They've happened off camera. And I think she realized, oh no, when they happen off camera, he twists it. So she's like, fine, I can't invite everybody over to my apartment to witness this. So we're going to have some sort of documentation.
Yeah. So good. So good. And I'm wondering if she waited to tell him that this would be on camera until he got there. Because, like, obviously, it's not that I don't think that he opened the door and it's like, oh, no, a camera. Because, like, they have to get, like, to break the fourth wall, they have to get mic'd up. It's a whole thing. So at some point, he would have known. I'm not sure if he knew when he got there and he was like, oh, he's getting mic'd up. And that's how he knew. So he couldn't run. If I was production, I would do it that way because I wouldn't count on him actually showing up to a scheduled let's sit down and talk situation and getting what I need to get for this story. Because I feel like Jesse it's so clear that he wants to be the victim in this. And I don't think he would have had a conversation with her like he wants to have a conversation with her if he knew cameras were there. And he's not going to be able to back out if he's there and they're miking him up. You know what I mean? So I kind of want to lean on that he got there and got mic'd up and was not aware it was going to happen.
Yeah, I was hoping he got mic'd up right outside the door. He came, and there's the producer like, let's put on your mic pack. Because, again, kind of like Lindsay had said about Carl, the more notice he has that this conversation is happening on camera, the more likely he is to figure out a story, figure out a way to make this not his fault. So I do hope it was a little bit of an ambush.
Yeah, that's the more interesting thing because it seemed like he was trying to figure out what to say. Like he's like, okay,
in real time.
like
you can see his brain moving.
Right. You see the wheels turning and it's the wheels turning part 2. That's what we named the last week's episode. Mm-hmm. And he tries to like gaslight Lexi into being like, you made me look bad. And because you kind of made it seem like I was purposely being manipulative, not saying he's so very, his word choices are so put in a way where it's like, he's still like not saying that's not what happened, but yet he's still trying to like play victim in the same breath. Like, you try to make it seem like I purposely or maliciously did this, not saying that's not what happened, but I didn't do it on purpose. Okay, it still happened. Whether you did it on purpose, I do think you did it on purpose, but whether you did it on purpose, that is what indeed happened. And now it's your fault because you've made me look bad. And Lexi is not having it. She said, sir, you made yourself look bad. You're the one who said these things, and I'm just confronting you about them. And I don't like it. So what do you have to say about that? And then he changed his tactics because even though he had all these things to say, I forgot to mention this, he had all these things to say about Lexi after the court had adjourned last week in the kitchen, like being like, even though she was very clear and the one that said out loud to everybody that she does not want to be exclusive with him. That first thing he did when he was with West alone was do the thing that he's been saying he's not doing, which is talking shit and making her look bad, because he was saying to West in that moment when they were in private, like, see, this is what I'm talking about with the yellow flags. She's trying to make me look bad. X, Y, and Z. This is what she's been talking. Like, you didn't say any of this in the kitchen. Then that was your time to say. You don't ever say that in the kitchen. You just say it one-on-one with people and make people feel a certain way about Lexi. Like, even in saying that and you didn't even address the fact like that you had said that what you said about West, which is like, West, like, you need to speak up here and say like, but what was that about? Like, but it's, again, the boys are going to have each other's back. But I'm glad Lexi in this moment is like calling him out in real time, which is why we love her, and not accepting the gaslighting. Yeah, I'm really proud of her.
His focus, again, is always on, you made me look bad, but he never steps back, at least that we see, and says like, well, why? And if you weren't saying these things, if you weren't talking shit about her, if you weren't making her feel crazy because you're telling two completely different stories, she wouldn't have anything to make you look bad. This is a woman who wants to date you. She wants to be exclusive with you in theory, right? Yeah. Like, so what does she have to gain by making you look bad? She's not doing it for fun. She's doing it because you're acting a certain way. And that part, he doesn't want to acknowledge. He doesn't want to admit to. And so, like, all I'm hearing when he's saying, like, oh, I didn't mean to, is like, okay, so you're just so naturally a manipulator. You just so naturally a gaslighter that you just don't even realize that your behavior is insane.
Yeah. And I don't know which one's worse. Like, but by the way, I don't believe for a second he doesn't know what he's doing when he's doing it. I don't.
He's not an idiot. Like,
I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to admit to it.
Exactly.
Because, again, that would mean that he is the bad guy that she's making him look like.
Mm-hmm.
But all
And
she's
he is
doing, to our knowledge, is telling the truth.
exactly. She is literally just saying back to him what he has said to everybody in this house.
It doesn't even seem like she's
he
putting any
doesn't like
sauce
he doesn't
on
want to
it.
hear it. Like, if you don't want to hear it, don't say it. If you don't want to hear it, don't say it. You've said it so many times. You even still said it after. You're still saying it. Stop saying it then.
Yeah.
That would help.
Take a page out of Paige's book, and if you think you want to be in a relationship with this person, maybe don't spill your problems all over everybody and then expect them to have a different vision other than the one you painted.
Thank you. Period. And that's what Lexi pretty much says to him as well. He's like, because then in the same breath, then he's like, but you know what? I think that there's something here. Let's work on this. Like, I don't want to just give this up. That was not the energy you had when you were talking to Wes, though. That's interesting.
I want to
and
end
Lexi
this
said,
based on what I've done.
Yeah, that was his like way of saying like, but here's me taking accountability. I've done this, but let's still work it out. Like, no, because you're like not. No, because also you could have said that in front of the house. You still aren't doing that part. Like, let's say this stuff in front of the house. You're not willing to do that. And Lexi's like, nah, I'm good on that. Like, I just don't think that we're compatible, which every man hates to hear. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
We're not compatible.
What do you mean?
We're not on the same page. It's you and it's not me.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the very opposite ends of what happened in the beginning of this episode with Carl and Sierra, whereas both just again, like, Sierra, I wish you watched the episode so you could see that you guys are so much more alike. I mean, maybe your tactics are slightly different, but like Sierra, you were like, you let Carl down. You let it be. It's not you, it's me, or it's the timing. And Lexi is like, it is you, Jesse, not me. And it's because of your timing and how you wanted to move. So, Lexi essentially, like, they kind of act as if they might try to decide if they haven't officially said that they're not talking, but based upon what I heard in the conversation, it's Lexi. I don't know if like she got one more. It's one more weekend before it's a wrap. Mm-hmm. It's not happening. Next weekend, we are not going to see these two people together. It's going to be.
I hope not. Like, I mean, she's at strike. I mean, he has to be at strike 2.5 by now.
Are you, Jaleeza? This man is at strike 6.
That's true.
This man is beyond. He is double the strikes.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But like double the strikes.
I'm concerned because we haven't seen everything that we've seen in the mid-season trailer. No. That I'm saying that we saw like of them in the mid-season trailer. I don't think so. I'm just a little concerned that she's not completely done with him just yet.
Ew.
But
Jesus.
Again,
Girl.
I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt because she has stood on everything she has said so far.
Yeah.
So
I'm so trusting in her and her judgment now.
Like, I
I'm
was
so
trusting in the beginning, but again, Lexi, I
was so grossly wrong about like, I thought she was like, I thought she was going to be a dumb bitch. And I thought I really did. I definitely have no problem.
So did Jesse.
So did
That's
Jesse.
His mortal flaw.
I definitely judged a book by its cover. Because like I was judging the book by its cover. I was judging the book by how many years it's been on the shelves. It seemed young. It didn't seem seasoned. That was someone switched the covers on that book. Is all I'm saying.
Absolutely. And
it wasn't the same book I was.
Sorry, I love everything about her. I love everything about her. I love how she's handling all this stuff with Jesse. Like, I take back any bad things I've said about Lexi up until this point. Yeah. Which
I love. You know what? Like, and again, that is why I think that like Shirla, miss you. I think that's why me, you, and Shirla, like, we have strong opinions, but I feel like it's not to the point where we're unwilling to, if we're, with the new information, we're very willing to shift if it makes sense, if we're presented with new information. And that's like, I feel like we were really open to hearing and perceiving the information because I definitely went in absolutely thinking I knew the outcome of how I was going to feel about Lexi. And that just was not the case. Was not the case.
We don't have blind loyalty, like,
at all.
Once we have the information, we are easily movable. Like,
I don't know these people. Even like, and again, we obviously, if you've been listening from the beginning of these recaps, we do not hide how much we love Lindsay. But even, and I've been trying to be a little bit better of like, because I keep saying like we give Lindsay criticism, and it's hard to give Lindsay criticism when we have to also, like, when the house is, like, also just being overboard. So I've been trying to, like, highlight the things that and I feel like you guys have done the same thing, like, where we're like, Lindsay is too much here and there, because it's like, no, it's like, it's not that I think I am so willing to be like, this person is wrong. It does not mean, even if I like them, because again, you can like someone and still be like, I didn't like what they did in that moment. And it doesn't mean that you have to stop liking them too. I think that's the thing. I think that people think that if you really like somebody on TV, if you criticize them in any way, that means that you don't like them. And it's not true. Because it's like in your real lives, like people that you love down, have you not been like, man, I don't like what they did in that moment, but that didn't mean that you didn't like them anymore? It's the same for people on TV.
I would hope so.
Unless they do something crazy, which then if someone does something crazy that's against your moral compass, you should also be like, I don't like you anymore.
Correct. Like, let's not be blindly loyal to anybody in this Bravoverse. And also, if we were covering a different season, we probably would have more negative things to say about Lindsay. There have been times where she's acted completely out of pocket. It just so happens that this season, there's less of that from her.
Yeah.
So we don't really have that much to criticize.
Yeah. Honestly, she's not really in the hot seat with the exception of the moment she had with Carl, which ironically, people are like, now people are like, wasn't that the lost episode? The episode that never made it to air that we had?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's funny.
But even then, she didn't hang on to it. She was like, okay, fine, I'm wrong. Let's move it along.
Yeah.
Had she hung on to it and, dragged it on, then we'd have some words for her.
Exactly. And typically, if it was a different season, she would. I think that dinner would have went it would have went on longer. It would have been really explosive. And again, she just didn't follow typically Lindsay patterns, which shows a lot of her growth. And again, we want growth. And the only reason that we are and we also want Carl to grow too. But again, like we said earlier, he just hasn't, like, him and a lot of these men don't ever really get held accountable for things. So that's why we're like, well, they never had to, like, atone for their behavior. So that's why I'm more comfortable calling out their past behaviors and bringing that shit up. Because it's like, atone now, bitch. Atone now. Now is the time for atonement. But we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Lexi and Jesse, but it's not looking good. We don't know how, actually, that's not true. We obviously know what is going to happen with Lexi and Jesse, but we just don't know when. So that's what we're waiting for. Is it going to be next week's episode? How many more episodes? I say this every week and I never look it up. I don't know how many more episodes we have left. Is it even going to be on camera? Is it going to be off camera? I don't know. We'll find out.
We have to be getting to the end here, and it's making me sad.
I know, right? But we end this episode on the lunch with Amanda and Kyle, and they're having lunch and they're talking about Kyle getting tested to see if he is sterile, because they are interested they're in a place in their life where they want to begin having kids, possibly. And
Kyle
might be. But apparently they have not had a conversation prior to this filming, because within this conversation of Kyle, like, kind of telling Amanda, like, yeah, the doctor saw some things on my test. I'm getting, we're going to test to make sure that I can produce. And then that gives Amanda the segue to be like, hey, so I've been actually, like, about that. Like, I think whether the tests come back positive or negative, I think we'll be fine at the end of the day, because, like, maybe we don't have kids. And, like, this throws Kyle for a loop. Like, I'm like, okay, I know that when you're on TV, you have to have certain conversations on camera. But I've always thought, like, especially people that are married, like, you didn't have this conversation at all before filming this. Like, is this literally Kyle's first time hearing that Amanda is, like, thinking about not wanting to have kids at all? Because if that's the case, I'm like, damn, that's diabolical.
Well, and when she's like, you wouldn't be, or are you fertile, or however she says it, and like, it sounded like there was a little excitement in her voice, like,
right,
if he just happens to be fertile, or if he happens to be sterile, then, like, I don't even have to think about this.
Yeah,
it was just a preview of where this was going, and it was like, it did feel like such a switch for them.
Yeah, especially because it felt like last year and all the other prior years, it was really Amanda really wanting to have kids, which leads me to believe that it's not Amanda not wanting to have kids. It's Amanda not wanting to have kids with Kyle, because a lot of her reasonings for, like, her doubt of wanting to start a family is because she doesn't think she's capable of taking care of anybody else. And she says that on the back of it being a her thing, like, again, kind of like Sierra, it's not you, it's me, like with my mental health stuff. And she's been very vocal about that. And I do think that plays a factor. But like what her mental health thing, I think, is directly tied to Kyle and her trauma and toxicity with Kyle. And I think that is a huge reason why, and which is why Paige ended her relationship with Craig, because I think she saw herself becoming Amanda, and her body was shutting down on her, Paige's body. And that's what Amanda's body was doing last year, to the point where Amanda, Sierra, and Paige took a fertility test because Amanda was concerned she might be able to have kids because she was so stressed. But when she said it, she's not capable. She doesn't know if she's capable of taking care of anybody else. And in my head, I was like, well, it's because I feel for you, because you've been spending so much time taking care of Kyle. He is your biggest kid.
That part. Well, and yeah, is it the question of like, is the part that she's not saying that she doesn't know if she's capable of taking care of anybody else on her own? Because at the end of the day, Kyle's too busy DJing. He's working all the time. He's already said he doesn't want to move out of the city. So now she's having to raise a baby in a New York City apartment because doesn't sound like he'll compromise on moving to Jersey. So it's like he just wants kids in his way. And it doesn't seem like he's even taking into account like the things she might need to feel comfortable with doing this. So why would you want to have a baby with someone like that?
Yeah, and also she's just started this swimsuit line. And she had mentioned, I think it was last episode, that she was so shocked that she had just announced that there's a swimsuit line was coming. Like, she didn't even have any products yet. She just announced that something was coming. And she was so shocked that so many people were excited and signed up for her new account. And I think she's kind of going through a Paige situation where it's like, whoa, I want to work. I can do this. People are interested. And having a baby right now would slow her down. And to your point, Jaleeza, like, I don't believe Kyle would step up in that to help her. So it would be like, for her, having to take on Kyle, being emotionally available for Kyle. And he is like the ultimate big kid. He is a handful. He is in his terrible twos always, perpetually. Mm-hmm. Then they have those 2 dogs. Let's remember that. They have 2 dogs in a New York City apartment. And those 2 dogs seem like not high maintenance, because my dog is like this too. It's they're high maintenance. Like they do take a lot. They're high energy. They're not just dogs that just like don't need to be walked. Like they need attention. They need walking. That's a lot. Then she got 2 of them bad boys. Yeah. She's starting this swimsuit thing. Like, that's a fucking lot. Then she wants to get, and there's like, no. And then they have to get pregnant, like, on top of that. And then Kyle's a DJ.
Well, and the timing feels odd, because it's almost like, Kyle, you want to start talking about kids now. She's finally gotten to a place where her mental health is good, where she has other things. And kind of like when she had told the girl she wanted to start a swimsuit line, and he's like, I want to be a DJ. It just feels like another way for him to like take something.
To stop that, right? Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you're getting a little too big for your britches. Like, now would be a great time to have kids. And she doesn't have the luxury that Paige does, where like Paige is on a show completely different than Craig. Paige has had something outside of Craig. She probably feels like indebted to Kyle for some of her life. He brought her onto Summer House. She's never had a Bravo career without him. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, she just feels tied to him, and it just feels like another way for him to like knock her down a peg.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden, like, I have never heard Kyle want to have kids or want to have this conversation so badly. All of a sudden, when things start seeming like she's going to be going out on her own and doing her own thing. Oh, perfect timing. Let's talk about like really like having kids. And it's feeling Craig coded.
Yeah.
Feeling very so. Craig coded. And I feel like it's and subconsciously, I think she knows that, which is why I feel like she's like, well, maybe we don't have kids at all. I kind of love that. Like, maybe we don't have kids at all. Let's not have kids. And
I mean,
he's
made a lot of promises in the beginning that he hasn't seen through. So, well, she changed her mind.
Like there's no house in wherever they're Connecticut or wherever they were looking, or Jersey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kyle then has this whole monologue as the credits are rolling, like, well, my dad is 81. I'm getting older. Like, I didn't know that this was on the table of not potentially having kids. And like, I have a small window, especially if I want my kids to be, a part of my dad's life who's getting older and all this stuff. Like, you knew you had elderly well, I mean, I guess he's not elderly because Kyle is old. I keep forgetting that. Like, so his dad is right around the age that his dad should be, and he always knew that. So it's like, what is, like, to our point, to your point, it's like, with all of a sudden, this is an important thing. When she was wanting to do this 2 years ago, this was not on the table, babe. So hopefully, like, I mean, for your sake, what Kyle needs to do as credits roll, it's really think about what he needs to do on his end to make Amanda feel confident that she's going to have a partner if they decide to have kids, and not just like her, like essentially it would be her fourth kid, 2 dogs and a Kyle. And who knows if, in knowing her, she probably fucking have twins. God damn.
That part, the fact that, he's focused on like his dad becoming a grandfather. But again, like, maybe you should focus on then what you need to do to put your wife in a position where she wants to have children with you. Like, it's not about leaving the lover boy kingdom to someone in the future. Like,
yeah, that's like, if he was really dwelling on that. Yeah, get real. Like, like lover boy, like that's what we're worried about. Like, who's gonna run that lover boy empire, which I wouldn't even consider an empire. Like, let's be real about that.
Like, you're doing a lot of work for what kind of return, sir?
I mean, and I don't want to like be rude about that. Like good. Like I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like the only reason why we feel like a little negative about it is just because he's negative about everybody else's ventures. So it's like, but you want everybody else to be positive about yours. So it's like, I feel like you like the way he's trying to knock Amanda down a few pegs. I feel like it makes me want to knock him down a few pegs.
Yeah,
like,
he just he weaponizes his business. Like, again, you think having someone to leave Loverboy to is reason to have a child? Like, it just, his motives just didn't seem 100% clean to me. Like, if he was talking about, I want to experience creating a family with Amanda, I want, something along those lines, then it'd be like, sure, yes. And the Loverboy empire is just a bonus for that child. But like, again,
and
it feels like he's having a kid so he can have an employee.
Right? And it feels like, I think I would have more empathy for him if he would acknowledge that Amanda wanted to provide that for him years ago. And he wasn't on the same, he wasn't ready for that, which is fine. But like, I don't know, like, I need the acknowledgement that like, oh, well, I could have had this, and now I'm feeling some type of way that like, oh, did I wait too long? Like, is it like, I had the opportunity, and I don't know, maybe I led Amanda to feel like we shouldn't do this. And is there am I a reason for the way she feels? I would like some acknowledgement that that could be a possibility. And if he did that, I think that I could like be open to this being, to your point, not a better motives.
Yeah. Well, I also wonder, is it just for the show? Like, does he really want a child?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Maybe I'm being cynical, but I'm just like, I don't know that I believe you.
Yeah, it doesn't feel, granted, we don't see them all the time. This is just summer house. Like, they only film in the summers. There's a lot that happens in between. Yeah. But it just feels like, okay, for example, Lindsay, she has been so vocal about wanting to have a family. So this feels such a natural thing. This does not feel out of the blue. This is, Kyle's all of a sudden wanting to have kids feels very much out of the blue. That's how it feels.
Yeah. And granted, that can happen, right? If you have a weird health test, all of a sudden that just brings your mortality to the forefront, the fact that maybe you can't to the forefront. So yeah, maybe something did switch in his head just like that. But yeah, it just, like you said, it feels out of the blue.
Yeah. And and if it's, and I don't want to, like, we're saying, I think we're just really nailing down the same point, but like, to just wrap this part up, like, I think a simple acknowledging, like, if it was out of the blue, or even not out of the blue, that like he blew it with the way that he has been acting within his relationship with Amanda. And I feel like his lack of support and putting a lot on her plate with for her emotionally, like, let's acknowledge that can lead anybody to like question if they want to take something on, like a responsibility of bringing a life into this world, like if they have the capacity to take that on.
Yeah. Like, is he going to let her have a maternity leave from work? Or is he going to expect her to still be designing merch like 2 days after birth?
Like, I feel like he'd be like, you're so lazy. Like, I feel like it would be a lot of comparison to Lindsay, and like, well, Lindsay was able to do all this stuff. She was in a whole summer house. Like, I feel like it would be a lot of that. Oh, it's sad that we even think that that's like something he would do.
I know.
Well, we'll find out. We'll see what happens. I can't wait to see if they talk about this on the reunion. I hope it isn't that much because I actually kind of don't care. But we'll see. We'll find out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'd be curious to hear where they stand now. But that can just be like
briefly.
let it be a passing viewer question, and then we move on. I don't want a whole segment about it.
Yeah. But that was like we actually did that.
Did we do it?
2 hours. We did.
Shirla's the problem. Just kidding. Love
bitches. You. Well, the thing is, we said this when you were missing. You are really good at keeping us off of tangents. So, like, if you two were just here and I wasn't here, I think it would also go like faster because you were very good at not keeping me and Shirla will go on a tangent and then another tangent and then a tangent after that. And you are able to rein us in. And so, but it's still entertaining. It's just like, you're just able to like keep us on tangent. So like, I know that if it was just you and Shirley, it would go the same exact way. We're the tangent. Shirley and I are literally the tangent queens. And I acknowledge that.
See, over the years, I've learned how to just like keep y'all reeled in a little.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I spent probably the first 3 minutes talking about a sloth. So
nature facts. This podcast is very, you don't know what you're going to learn. You're going to come in, you might learn about something on Summer House. You might learn about sloths. Well rounded.
Right? I feel like if Shirla was here and I was talking about the sloth, because I almost said it myself, she would have been like, remember when we saw those sloths on my 30th birthday trip in Panama? And we would have talked about that for like 45 minutes.
Remember the little monkey?
Oh, yes. The little monkey. That was so cute. Okay. Well, because oh my God, we're still under the 2 hours. We're about to hit 2 hours.
An extra couple minutes.
Oh my God, we have like an extra literally 1 minute. So, okay, well, that is a wrap on recapping Summer House episode 12. We will be back with both Shirla and Jaleeza next week to talk about episode number 13. And we'll see if like maybe we can keep it at the sweet spot of 2 hours because I feel like that moved really great. We will try. Like we said, we never make any promises. But if you'd like to join our group chat because you're like, well, I'm missing an hour. I'm used to you broads talking for 3 hours. Feel free to join our group chat. You can always DM us with your comments if you have things to add or you just want to just be like, you guys are completely wrong. That's completely fine. You can do that on any place that we post things, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You can put it in the comment sections or you can just directly DM us. You can, or write on our like walls, I guess. Is that what they call them? Anyway, you can contact Jaleeza on her Instagram, and that's going to be Jaleeza LH on Instagram. Even though Shirla wasn't here, she has lots of opinions, and she had been texting us saying that she is just sad that she's not here to share them. So go ahead and share your opinions with Shirla so she can share them right back with you at her Instagram, which is Shirla Divine. And if you want to do it on her TikTok, it's Shirla Divine 007. And of course, you can find me at Pia JV on TikTok and Instagram. You can email the pod at piapopcultureguru@gmail.com. So, oh yeah, and also YouTube, Pia Pops Off. All right. All of this will be in the show details below. But 2 hours. Oh my God, I got it exactly at 2 hours. Okay, so in the spirit of keeping it at 2 hours, like I was hoping, thank you, Jaleeza, for joining us. We'll see you back here next week. Bye.
See you next week.
We finally did it. We said 2 hours, and we literally ended the episode on 2 hours exactly. I am so impressed. I'm so proud. We still went on some tangents, but we kept it tight. We had a tight little ship, and I enjoyed it. We did miss our Bravo Sleuth, our Bravo bestie, Shirla, and she definitely will be joining us next week to recap episode number 13 of Summer House. But I had a blast chatting it up solo dolo with Jaleeza on this episode. But as always, we encourage you to join the group chat. We thank you for listening, and we love to see the comments and see your excitement and see your takes. So keep them coming, baby, because the group chat is popping, okay? And if you get to us by Friday, which is when we record, the episodes of Summer House come out on a Wednesday. We record on a Friday. And you have something that you like to add that was like crazy, like we'll probably talk about it. So go ahead, leave that in the group chat threads on all of our social medias, which I mentioned before. If you didn't catch it, didn't have a pen and paper, don't worry. All of the information to contact us, Shirla and Jaleeza, will be in the show details below. Okay? Well, thanks again for listening to Pia Pops Off with my Bravo besties, my Bravo sleuths. Only today, Jaleeza, but typically Jaleeza and Shirla. We will see you back here next week to recap Summer House episode number 13. Okay? Oh, wait. Oh, my God. I almost forgot. What does Pia always say? Oh, yeah. Pop off.